Thank you for the video. Next, we'll have another video of our External Affairs Minister visit to Tokyo.
India and Japan, as two major Indo Pacific nations sharing values, history, and interests, have an abiding stake in the peace, security, and prosperity of our region and are ready to play a responsible role commensurate to the needs of our times. As democracies and market economies, we also share basic affinities. Our commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific is being taken forward by the Quad with each passing year. The value of this contribution is also being increasingly appreciated across the world.
Thank you for showing us the video. We hope you enjoyed. Now, I would like to invite His Excellency Shibi George, Ambassador of India to Japan, to make his inaugural remarks. 中日インド大使シビジョージ閣下よりご挨拶をいただきたいと思います。
Good afternoon, everybody. Professor Unath Pandit, Comptroller General of Patents, Designs and Trademarks, Government of India. Distinguished speakers for the seminar from India and Japan. Senior officials and scientists from JST, Jamstec, AMED, Toyo University, Nippon Medical College, Sophia University, Tohoku University, Shibaura Institute of Technology, Nagoya University, Tsukuba University, representatives from startups, young children. Once again, good afternoon to each one of you. I'm very happy to participate in this seminar on India-Japan Science and Technology Pathways to Sustainable Future being organized today to commemorate the Technology Day that we observe today. Very glad to see the students from our schools who are exhibiting their projects, showcasing their technological acumen and plan for a sustainable future. As we all know that this year we are celebrating the 10th anniversary of Special Strategic and Global Partnership that India and Japan entered into in 2014. We have traveled a long way since then in building our relationship at every sphere, at the political level, at the business level, at the strategic level, at the people-to-people level. And one important area that needs special mention is our science and technology engagement. We have made significant progress in building our relationship in various aspects related to science and technology. Three basic come to my mind when I talk about India-Japan relationship in the science and technology field. We had the great pleasure of watching the Chandrayaan mission in this auditorium when last year India, using its own technology, sent first its moon mission first time to the southern side of the moon. This was the first attempt, and it was a full Indian technology, a proud moment for Indian scientists and India, and for the humanity. Second point I would like to highlight, talking about India-Japan relationship, is a message that I got from the large number of Japanese delegations which visited India for the G20 summit. We have organized more than 200 events in India during the G20 summit last year. And each meeting was attended by a Japanese delegation. When they came back, they told me about the transformation in India. But the most striking of all that was the digital infrastructure, the digital transformation that India has made in the last couple of years. Again, a proud moment for India when it comes to the science and technology achievement. The third point is in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. We have seen that the whole world suffered. COVID-19 pandemic, we in India also suffered. But what stands out when we look at it today is that India was able to vaccinate each of its citizens, that is 1.4 billion of them, with indigenous vaccines. As the pharmacy of the world, we were able to vaccinate our own people, 1.4 billion of them, not once but twice, and also supply vaccines to more than 100 countries in the world. Again, when it comes to science and technology, a very interesting and important point that makes India and Indians proud. India, with its world's largest populated country, the fifth largest economy, has adopted a strategic approach to science and technology, including critical and emerging technologies, with the objective of continuing our economic progress, economic growth, and national security. We are, we and to maintain our global competitiveness, India has taken several steps in the field of science and technology promotion. Let me just highlight 4 points related to the science and technology field, what are the priorities when it comes to India's technology program. First and foremost, the traditional strategic technologies. We continue to focus on the traditional strategic technologies like defense, nuclear, space technologies. Then comes the critical digital technologies such as semiconductors, electronics, telecommunications, digital public infrastructure, which I mentioned. Then comes third, emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, AI, machine learning, quantum computing, and drones. And of course, then comes clean and green technologies and the biotechnologies. Taken together, these sectors present opportunities for deeper collaboration between India and its partners, including Japan. I'm very happy that we are organizing this seminar today, and there are speeches giving elaborative position on our science and technology achievements and the way forward. So I would not like to continue more on this. I would like to uh, express my gratitude once again for everyone who is joining us today. This year, next year, we would be celebrating the 40th anniversary of the first science and technology MOU that we have signed with Japan. So, which I propose to organize as India Japan Year of Science and Technology. So, in preparation for that, this year we would be organizing a series of seminars to connect between India and Japan in this crucial sector of science and technology. Once again, I thank you for all joining us. My best wishes to each one of you. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the inaugural remarks. Next, we will have an online presentation from Professor Unnat Pandit, Controller General of Patents, Designs and Trademarks, IP Office, Government of India.次にインド政府知財庁東京衣装商標総監のウンナット・パンディット教授によるオンラインプレゼンテーションをいただきます。
Hello. Yeah, thank you. It is most important and timely when we are discussing on the science and technology pathway to sustainable future, and that too by the two most friendly country in the world, India and Japan. We have a long legacy of our friendship, and that friendship has been translated into our business potential also, and this has been catalyzed by the Embassy of India in Tokyo. So I congratulate our ambassador, under whose dynamic leadership this is further going to catalyze, and also Yashwant ji, who is having a sound experience exposure on technology amplification, and he is there in Tokyo to further catalyze this. And today's event, Science and Technology Pathways to the Sustainable Future, is certainly going to offer our countries to think about the useful and promising IP which got created in both the countries, and this IP should certainly be utilized for the sustainable future. India is surging ahead in the technology and innovation, and I would like to present here few interesting findings, and I can see that so many academic researchers, startups who have joined this particular seminar. It is a high time to enable the IP protection in India and equally utilize the IP potential of India for the sustainable future. And the data shows that completely a different narrative in the growth story Bharat has created. The technological advancement and innovation which is happening at the pace is certainly catching the eyes of the world. And that's why it is important to understand the growth potential, grant, and overall disposal of IPs. So here I would like to present you real-time analysis, the filing from 42,000 to 92,000 filing, which is showing the change narrative. You can see the graph where in disposal is more than 1,26,000. The surge in the disposal tells about the growth story of IP in India. the graphical submission on filing by 2022 and 23 and 23-24 in 1 years of a change speaks a lot about the way IP has been adopted in the country and the journey on which the country wants to grow in the Amrit Kal. This period is the transition phase from our 75th year of independence to the 100th year of independence. And learning so much from the growth story of a developed ecosystem, we have also adopted the new normal on which we want to place our country as an IP friendly country. It is and it will. Certainly the way the disposal which has happened in say as a 2018-19 to 23-24, all the growths are significant and certainly the iconic growth which is happening. See the 2014-15 to 23-24, in 9 years of a growth story, the kind of IP narrative which has been reset. This shows that every 6 minutes, one technological advancement or scientifically developed product is looking for the IP protection in India. And in this growth journey, it is important that they see the fate of the success of a IP-driven product design, development, and deployment in Indian economy. This fate shows that India is going to offer vast opportunities for the IP commercialization. And all the academic and startups in this audience must see this from the different narrative. India is the country of opportunities. And in these opportunities, Japan has been a sustainable and stable friend. And so many industrial advancement which has happened in the country, wherein Japan has been pioneer and friend to India. Similarly, on a trademark also, there is the journey which speaks all about the kind of a designing potential which India offers. And you can see 2020 to 21 and 23-24. Entirely the growth story on a novel design. India believes in the design for sustainable IP-driven growth. And that's how the entire new narrative which is getting built in. See the last 4 years growth and last 10 years growth in the design sector. And Japan has been one of the important design applicant in India. Similarly, the copyright growth story. This something which is promising on all aspects in total from each diversified IP sectors. Whether there's the patent, trademark, copyright, design. India is an IP friendly. Each of this. Our journey on the IP speaks all about. The journey started with 2016 when India has offered a national intellectual property right policy on the creation, promotion, awareness, on the IP, legal aspect of the IP, on the administrative aspect of the IP, on the commercial utilization of the IP, on creating the human resource on IP. We have strategically and steadily offered the growth in the IP fraternity and IP ecosystem. The National Intellectual Property Awareness Mission, which we have started in 2021, December 2021. And now, till date, we have offered 2.4 million student, youth, and the academicians as well, the training on intellectual property rights. We have seen 247% growth in the academic filing in India. We have offered 1 million technology-driven solutions in last 4 years through our Smart India hackathons. Japan has been one of the partner in couple of events also. And few universities have collaborated with our academic institutions as well. The youth here who is tech savvy, scientifically fully equipped, is not just identifying the problems for the sustainable future, going into the root cause of this problem and trying to find these solutions, acquiring the new knowledge. And this is something, a new dimension in the growth story. In last 7 years, India has established 10,000 tinkering and innovation lab at school level. So from class 6 to 12, student is acquiring the futuristic technological knowledge. They are visualizing where the challenges or problem society is facing. What is the root cause of this problem? And how and what kind of a technological knowledge which they have to gain so that they can design a solution for the scientific and technological problem which society is facing. This is the beginning of a sustainable future. And this is the IP-driven solution designing. And this entire journey speaks in this graphical submission what India has tried to reset in last 7 to 9 years, and how the COVID also has given them the opportunity to think the IP growth differently and separately. And that's why in the post-COVID era, we have seen the surge in the IP filing. The growth is something where India is going to see the sustainable future in coming 2 decades. Japan being a friend to India, he equally wants to grow joining hands together. Even on the geographical indication, which India is offering as a community right, the kind of a registration which has happened in last 2 years, we have a 210 GI registered. This is something on a 10 years and 5 years journey on a GI also. We equally feel that cultural significance contributing to the community right is important for us. And that is something which is required to offer as the sustainable future. Journey speaks a lot about this. Those who have not yet enabled this IP opportunities in India. In coming 2 decades, country is going to see the entire new trajectory on surging ahead in the technology and innovation. That is the sustainable future for the both the countries and the world as well. I'm sure this will give both of us, India and Japan, the opportunity to rethink and rebuild the new normal in the coming new normal in the growth story coming together. I thank Yashwanji for giving me this opportunity to share some of my thought. Namaste.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, before we move ahead, I have few quiz questions for you all if you are ready to answer. So, should I go with the first quiz? Anyone can answer. Name of the scientist who became President of India. Maybe have the mic, please.
APJ Abdul Kalam.
Yes, that's correct. May I have your name? Thank you, Parth. Now, second question. How many Indian Institute of Technologies, popularly known as IITs, are there in India? Yeah, maybe have the mic there.
Seven.
Um, maybe have another answer. Yeah, maybe have them.
Ma'am is 23.
Yes, that's correct. It's 23. May I have your name?
My name is M. Prathamesh.
Thank you so much. Now, I would like to continue with the event. There will be a group photo and certificate distribution to the online quiz winner for the science and technology. May I please invite His Excellency C.B. George, Ambassador of India to Japan, once again to please come on the stage for certificate distribution. Thank you, sir. Now, may I please invite Mrs. Sucheta Mukherjee Fujita, who is the online quiz winner, to please come on the stage. Thank you. Thank you so much. Suchita, may I request you to please be on the stage for the group photo? May I please invite all the respected speakers to please come on the stage for group photo with His Excellency Mr. Shivi George, Ambassador of India to Japan. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Now to move ahead, thank you so much, everyone. Now to move ahead with the event, an exhibition will be inaugurated by His Excellency Shivi George, Ambassador of India to Japan, on the first floor. May I please request everyone to proceed to the exhibition? Thank you so much.
Dito po sila harap. Saan ba? Kayo po sa opening. Naka-live din po kayo.
Vice Chancellor Janaki, please come, please. Please come. Sir, please come. Come. You should come in this side. Speakers.
Then big bug.
To predict the stock market. So big investors, they put a lot of money in the stock market. Sometimes they may lose that money if they don't look at the trend. They may lose basically, so yeah, they can benefit because some people don't know how to use it properly. So they invest money and they get money. So we can avoid them using money. For example, the actual value was 44.1 and my model predicted is 43, so close. Yeah.
you everyone for returning back. Hope you had a nice exhibition. Hope you all have enjoyed. Before moving forward, that question: what are the names of COVID-19 vaccines that COVID? Yes. Who can tell what is the form of UTI?
A unified payment interface.
Yes, that's correct. Now we can just move ahead with the event. Now we will have an online presentation on India's first CAR T cell therapy for cancer treatment from Professor Rahul Parwar, IIT Mumbai.
Good afternoon, everyone. Uh, His Excellency Ambassador of India in Japan, Yaswantji, and all officials of Embassy in Japan, faculty members from Nippon Medical School, Sophia University, Sabura University, University of Tsukuba in Tokyo, all dignitaries and guests in the audience, as well as all the students. Very delighted to be here and presenting you the work which we have been doing on cell and gene therapy in India. You all know that Japan is pioneer in cell therapy, gene therapy, and has been using these technology for quite some time now. However, in our country, in India, cell and gene therapy was inaccessible. They were not affordable to many people. In last 10 years, our effort was that can we make indigenous cell and gene therapy, which is affordable, and therefore we can enhance the access to this part of the world. And that's what we are going to talk about. I am professor at IIT Bombay and also the founder of one of the startup called ImmunoAct, which brought India's first CAR T-cell therapy. So, CAR T cell therapy, cell and gene therapy is mainly for oncology disorders like cancer, as well as other infectious diseases, genetic disorders. I will focus now on the cell and gene therapy, especially for cancer. Okay? So in India, there are more than a million cases of cancer, and India ranks second in global cancer mortality. Every year, almost 1 million deaths we see in our country. Worldwide, another huge problem, uh, 70 million cases worldwide. It is kind of very difficult to treat disease. Currently, people use therapy, immunotherapy, and all of these different type of medicine. They have huge success, but response rate, that means how many patients really respond to this therapy, is very, very few. For example, 16 to 20% patient respond to chemo, especially the blood disorder. Immunotherapy, only hardly 30% people, 30 to that range, cancer patient respond. However, CAR is gene therapy platform. Here, response rates are really, really huge. That means 80% patients almost respond to these kind of therapy. And most important thing is to understand from this slide that these are intent to cure platform. Intent to cure means generally you all might have heard cancer is curable. We use the word radical in cancer. We never say it's cure because cancer can go and again come back. Cell and gene therapy gives hope to at least some patients that cancer may go forever and these patients can get cured. And that's why the therapy is called into cure platform. Japan, Kazuko Honjo, uh, as well as Jim Allison from US, they have discovered and immunotherapy which led to the Nobel Prize. This is one of the biggest revolutions happened in Japan and from US, which brought cancer under low and helped many people. Thousands of lives were saved. At the same time, there is another revolution happening, and this revolution was led by another pioneers, one Carl Jung from University of Pennsylvania, and Steve Rosenberg from NIH. They discovered cell and gene therapy as well as CAR T cell therapy. What is CAR T cell therapy? So, and how does it work? So, one patient come to the clinic and a patient visit to the doctor. Doctor takes out the blood and blood is sent to the laboratory. This blood, then we take out the take out the immune cells from the blood and genetically modify these blood cells, especially the T cells in the blood, and make CAR T cells by genetic engineering or genetic modification. Once these CAR T cells are prepared in the laboratory, they are sent back to the hospital and infused into the patient. Basically, what we are trying to do here is that we are making our own cells cancer fighting cells. Cancer originated from our own body, and therefore, these our body doesn't recognize them all the time. So, we are using genetic engineering as a tool to genetically modify the cell to fight against cancer. These are personalized medicine, unlike other medicine you all see on the pharmacy. For every patient, we have to prepare a new medicine for everyone. That's why it is called personalized therapy. These are also a living drug. Why living drug? You might have seen and observed in your life that medicine generally take periodical. So if we have antibiotics, chemotherapies, you take weekly, some twice a day, some monthly, or depending on your schedule. However, the CAR-T platform is given only once. And once we give these CAR-T to the patient, these cells live longer into the patient. How these CAR-T cells look? So this circle, you imagine our immune cells, and then we genetically send this particular receptor or CAR receptor on the cell surface, and these receptors recognizes the cancer cell and kill the tumors. In India, this kind of technology was not available because the only major reason why this technology is not available because of high cost. This technology costs half a million to 3 million US dollar per patient. In Indian currency, it's a huge amount of money, one of the most expensive therapy on the planet Earth, right? This in India or in global south, it hardly happen. If you see global north, yes, US and Canada and also Japan. In Asia, I think Japan is one of the developed countries. They are the only ones who have global south, which are no resource. These therapies are not available. Therefore, our effort that there's a huge opportunity. The, you see, there's a lot of $88 billion people expect size would be. So opportunity is huge in this area, and this therapy works. So this is Emily Whitehead, one of the first patients treated by this technology, you see declared can be cured with the cancer. This therapy, as I said, these are available in global north. It's very expensive CAR T cell therapy, and some of you might have other gene therapy platform for sickle cell disease, $3 billion for one. So these platforms are extremely expensive. And FDA, for example, if you see how many gene therapies are available, there are many, more than 20 plus gene therapy available for various right from blood cancer to blood diseases, skin diseases, neurological diseases, eye, muscular, etc. However, India got its first gene therapy just last year in October 2023. And here, our objective was because this therapy works, it's state-of-the-art technology, very complex technology, how we can make it accessible in, and develop indigenously and make it affordable. And we were thinking we have to do one-tenth of the cost what is available in global north. And to develop something, what we need is the ecosystem, collaboration, infrastructure, education, and training. This is what we have done. We invested in collaboration, partnerships, invested in infrastructure. I am an academic institute, also worked hard for educating new generation and training. And here was the team. So we built the team of IIT Bombay, the faculty members, collaborated with the clinic because ultimately we are the end users and the hospital, collaborated with NCI in US because his partner, Dr. Nirali Shah and Dr. Shah, and ImmunoAct and my students co-founded this company for the clinical translation in a sustainable manner. We developed our IP. So Indian YQ, they granted the IP patent for the car construction product. And then we have tested extensively in the laboratory, patent, published the data, as well as then we move to the clinic. Because now the product is ready in the lab to move. And almost a few years back, 2021, we did our first pediatric patient in the using this Indian Make in India CAR T cell therapy. Then we reached to the clinic for the adult patient, 15 years or older. Dr. Hasmukh Jain, again in Tata Hospital, treated his first patient. Now I'm very happy to tell you that we have now treated more than 125 patients using this technology. Response rate is as good as any other therapy, very high quality product, more than 70% response, and low toxicity, and which is the novelty of the product. And because of time, we will not go in detail. But just to give you, in last 10 years, 2013, 23, we developed the proprietary platform for cell and gene therapy, conducted all the laboratory work to a stepwise manner from the lab to preclinical animal model, then to the all stages of clinical trial, and then finally got the market authorization by government of India. We collaborate hugely across the country. Many people help us developing the Make in India party. And in brief, at last, I will say that what we have in India is an ecosystem of gene therapy. This academic industry partnership, this led to development of first Make in India cell and gene therapy platform. We have created the manpower, train them. We now are India's clinical infrastructure ready. A lot of clinical trials can happen. We have the GMP manufacturing capabilities for cell and gene therapy like platform. Therefore, this opportunity will take for Japanese industry as well as academia to collaborate, which you have been using or developed many gene therapy platforms, and now India is also ready with the ecosystem. And I really invite and request you all to come, collaborate, and make a difference in part of the world as well. With this, I will stop and I will acknowledge all my students who work very hard, postdoc fellows, as well as the immunoact, which is supported by Laura, who did translational work, clinical trials, and now helping many hospitals to treat or to help patients by God. Thank you so much.
So next, we'll have an intersection of climate change, planetary health, and AI towards a sustainable future by Professor.
Afternoon, everyone. Konnichiwa. I would like to first give my gratitude to our ambassador for having this very excellent meeting and to our science counselor for inviting and giving me this in front of, especially in front of these little uh, school children. I call them little because compared to me, they are little. Many of them were not even born when I came to Japan. So, of course. So, very happy to be here. Thank you. Can I go to the next slide, please? So, as you know, climate change is a very important issue now. We are living in a very dangerous situation. We are responsible for it. And we need to act, each one of us. If not, the future is going to be no and no space for us humans. So, why is this happening? It's since the start of the industrial age, there is increased fossil fuel, emission of heat trapping, greenhouse gases, rise in global surface temperature, and frequent duration of weather events, as you know, like wildfires, heat, and so on. And human exposure, the cumulative measure of all environmental exposures, whether it's biological, chemical, and physical, encountered is also adversely affected. Exposome is affected. That is the basis of many immunological diseases like asthma, diabetes, and cancer, as you just. Thank you. This helps. So, next slide, please. So, when you look at this environmental and lifestyle risk factors, you have genetics. You know that genetics, and that can play an important role in disease formation. You have indoor pollutants, and these pollutants are constantly harming our not only the respiratory system but other organs of the body. Then you have biodiversity. Now, what's happening with all that's happening now in the climate change is being caused by it? There is increase in the biodiversity, and the reduced biodiversity is again causing this problem. Urbanization, they're good things, but they bring with us things that we need to actually counter those in diet. Our Western form of diet, lack of vitamin D, and microbiota. Now, the human body has so many microbes, you can't imagine it's more than the number of cells. These microbes are there to maintain our immune health, especially in the first 100 days of a child's life. It's that time that the immune system is being built. And any dysbiosis humanity in its composition, diversity, can lead to disease formation. Next slide, please. So, Nick, just go on to the. Yeah. So, when you talk about nutrients, we know all of this, right? It's not new to you. So, just go on one more. Yes. So, we have the gaseous matter and we have particulate matter. We have the primary, secondary, and you have different sources of it shown here. But again, you can see here PM 2.5, PM 2.1, PM 10. And say, for example, what does it do to our respiratory system? Well, it causes mortality of cardiorespiratory diseases. Look at this, each one of them. Hospitalization is increased. Incident asthma exacerbation, bronchitis, respiratory allergy, bronchodilatation, school absences. Now, all these are just one disease area, cardiorespiratory. There's so many diseases being caused by this. Next slide. And what does Lancet Commission say? It's a little old data, but it's going to highlight. You look at all the causes of death, and what is outstanding here? Smoking and secondhand total pollution. It's the pollution that's the bigger killer. It is known that pollution can kill more people than what COVID did. Can you imagine? Every year, there are 3 million deaths happening every year just from pollution. And we really need to tackle this. Next slide, please. I mean, look at this map. Very interesting. Asia Pacific is the largest continent, but it's also the most vulnerable region to the impacts of climate change. And look at this. If you look at the percentage population also, we are suffering the maximum. And so action needs to happen here, and we cannot wait for it. Next slide, please. The other important thing, as I told you about the microbiota. So these environmental insults, they affect the exposome. And when they affect the exposome, what happens? This is the old generation, the generation of our parents and our grandparents. They had a vertical transmission of the microbiota, horizontal transmission, a very replete ancestral microbiota, and this resulted in a mature and adapted immune response. That means the body is capable to fight everything external, can protect itself, and can make wellness and health and not disease prone. On the other hand, the current generation and the future generation has a decreased vertical transmission, decreased horizontal, decreased maintenance, and this results in depleted microbiota and altered maturation of the adaptive immunity, that is decreased tolerance and increased reactivity. And this results in autoimmune and inflammatory disease, including cancer, what you just heard of. So you can just imagine that this is, again, an important thing that we are not seeing, but is happening within our body. And this is affected not only by the environment, but our diet and our lifestyle and other factors. Next one. The other important thing is the epithelial barrier. Now, what is epithelium? You have the skin, the outer layer. You have the nose, the outer layer. Every organ in the body has an outer layer called the epithelium or epidermis. Now, that has so tightly connected, nothing can pass through that. It's like a protection against the internal organs. But when there is an insult from the environment, when there is some insult from something else, the epithelium widens out. And the toxins can enter, the microbiota get dysbiosis, and then there is disease formation. And look at this. What are the things causing it? It's not just viruses and bacteria and allergens, not just climate change and particulate matter or cigarette smoke. Food additives, emulsifiers, nanoparticles, microplastics, which we see in the ocean so much. We are eating them every day when we eat fish and other things, detergents, surfactants. All these things have. And there's science, these are published data showing that this happens. So we need to find ways to actually overcome these insults that is happening to our body and leading to the chronic inflammatory disease. Next slide. So what is the impact of climate change on health? Well, many organs. Respiratory system, I already told you, like asthma, allergy, and cancer, again, lung cancer. You can see my friend who's a surgeon, lung surgeon in Delhi, Medanta, was telling that when he operates patients, you cannot find a pink lung. Every lung, because all of us, wherever we are exposed to these pollutants. We're traveling, we're going here and there, we are breathing the toxic air. And so the lungs become black or they dark. You can't find a pink lung. So that's the thing, respiratory system. Pathogens, like look at the COVID, what is happening? The vector-borne diseases are increasing because the vector becomes more virulent. Then you have increased waterborne diseases like cholera and so on. Then mental health. This is the most ignored thing. Nobody cares about mental health. Mental health is so important, right from school kids. You are stressed, you're anxious, you don't know what to speak, you want to say something, you don't have an outlet to speak. It may be your chat box, but that's not it. So we need a way to have good mental health, and it's very important. And this mental health is again further affected by the different things like hurricanes, wildfires, floods, because people are apprehensive, they don't know, they miss schools, so many things. Cardiovascular system, diseases like ischemic stroke, high blood pressure, and so on. And then course, as I mentioned, immunity and allergy are also increased because the pollens are also grossly affected by the um, climate change and pollution. Next slide, please. So, what is planetary health? Planetary health is the health of the human civilization and the state of the natural systems on which it depends. So, for example, you look at the human system, emotional and cognitive health, physical and emotional health, attitudes and health behavior, genome and epigenome. And all these are affected not just by the pollution in the air, in the water, in the soil, in the food. Look at this food and agriculture system, the pesticides, the chemical fertilizers that are being used. All these different things need to be addressed if you want. So it's a bidirectional effect of human made systems across scales. And we need to actually address this. So to address health, we need to save the planet. Because if you save the planet, you save the health of the human being. So it's very, very important that planetary health is given importance. Next slide. And what is One Health? The One Health is the concept emphasizes the interconnectedness of human, animal, and environment. When we talk about health, we only think of human health. No, we are in concert living with the animals and plants and the ecosystem. So that system has to be in concert and in good harmony. If not, then it affects the human health directly or indirectly. So you can see here the different factors that the disease vectors, all these different things are actually affecting either the environment or the animal health or and therefore the human health. Next slide, please. So when you elaborate on a conceptual framework, you have the health impact, but you need to find key indicators. How to quantify impact? You have to find out factors. How do you measure what your interventions? How do you measure the impact of your intervention? You need to measure to know it is. So how to quantify the impact of people? How to evaluate the financial and modeling health impacts? All these things are crucial. The health costs of climate change and the health benefits of climate mitigation are very important to understand. Next slide. And then, when you come to know that all this, what can AI do? What does AI do to help us in this? Well, AI can do a lot of things. How do we harness the power of AI? Well, you can do sustainable land use, early warning systems, forecasting for weather events like tsunamis, like earthquakes, like hurricanes, and so on. Optimizing transportation system, energy efficiency, carbon sequestration, energy efficient building design and renovation, uh, uh, reducing deforestation and also reforestation also is very important. Grid management, assisted renewable energy, precision agriculture is very important to have foods, that is, because you see the most people who are affected are in vulnerable societies, people living in low income countries. You see the soil is not good. So the food that they eat, even if they eat the so-called nutritious food, that's lacking in minerals, lacking in iron, lacking in vitamin D, and so they are the already poor and they are the most affected people. So this is very, very important. And then you need to have resilient cities. So that's part of urban planning also. Next slide, please. Now, what about healthcare? What can AI do? AI can do a lot in health. So this is the interconnectedness between climate change, planetary health, and AI. How do we harmonize this? And that harmonization is very important because nothing is separate. So you see early diagnosis. You can get early diagnosis. You can get medical image analysis. You can get choose better treatment strategies because you know how to phenotype. I'll come to that. Better monitoring of the patient because of mobile and wearable apps. I'll show you one data on that we did to monitor pollution effect on asthma. And then improving decision making because the doctors can make a better decision if you have a better understanding from these different factors. Better access to medicals. In many places, the patients don't have very good access. So if AI is there, telehealth is there, you can have better access to medicals. Personalized medicine. Today we talk about like CAR T cell therapy. Personalized medicine is important, but how do you know whether somebody is going to respond to that treatment or not? For that, it's very important to have that AI. We can actually get a lot of data together, analyze it, and find out which phenotype, which group of people you can really understand from that. So that kind of data analysis is very, very important. So, and then of course for rehabilitation and patient engagement. Next slide. And then very important to get epidemiology, whether it's epidemiology of disease or epidemiology of zoonotic diseases like infectious disease, the disease burden, the phenotyping, like within a same disease, you have multiple phenotypes. So you want to understand which phenotype is this patient having, which phenotype of disease is patient having, what kind of treatment will best benefit this patient, and this can be done through AI. Environmental impacts, like I said, weather impacts, risk prediction. You can predict the risk of somebody having. Somebody did a study on that. Look at risk prediction. You did that, yes. You all had done. The thing that risk prediction, the risk factors, is real world evidence. We do RCT, random control trials. Everybody's put into a certain category, and those patients and all the drugs that come out are based on random control trials. But today, what we understand is RCT alone doesn't work, because we are not looking at just healthy patients. We have to look a patient who has diabetes, also has cancer, also has allergy. So it's a different situation. So you need real world evidence, and real world evidence is becoming now very important even in WHO guidelines. So real world evidence is important. Prevention. Why are we talking about treatment only? We need to prevent. How do we prevent? AI can help in that kind of thing. Wellness, very important. How do we get a healthy society? Because an economically advanced country can only become economically advanced if the society is healthy. Health is the most important thing before anything else. And you need science-based solutions for these. And research, drug discovery, again, AI is very important, clinical trials and education. So for all these different things, AI is very, very important. Next slide. And this is just one of my colleagues who has done this work, and to look at the ambient air pollution and pulmonary function in asthmatic children by mobile applications during the COVID pandemic. And you can see out here, what they did is they're using smartphone apps. We identified the NO2, CO, and PM10 were higher at the pre and post-COVID lockdowns than during the lockdown. And the smartphone apps were able to collect air pollution data as well as the lung function for asthmatic patients and help to guide treatment. It was help to prevent them from getting attacks. So your judgment to treat, what to treat was done. And this is a thing that we were able to do post now as a result of the COVID and COVID era and beyond. Next slide. So it's a situation like this, where digital health is one platform used to connect healthcare with planetary health. Next generation care pathways integrating planetary health sustainability will be like this, where you have the transformation of the healthcare in the digital single market, behavioral science, patient participation, and then of course the nutritional activity, biodiversity, planetary health, and contributing to this are air pollution. And then here having self-care, pharmacists, general practice. So there are different steps of it, but it's very, very important how digital health can play an important role in the management of patients or with disease. Next slide. And then of course, what about the whole genome sequencing? The whole genome sequencing, this international collaboration, very important, because this intersectoral collaboration is with a One Health approach. So you're looking at the healthcare and public health, looking at animal health and food safety, you're looking at environment and ecosystems. I'm not going to go into detail of this for want of time, but regional and global One Health policies and governance initiatives should foster the concerted development and efficient utilization of pathogenic genomic surveillance to protect the health of humans, animals, and the environment. Next slide. And this is the G20. I'm very happy to say that I was honored to be the co-chair of the G20 T20 Task Force 3. This actually was initiated by way back in COP26. Our Prime Minister Modi ji had launched the global action on life, that is lifestyle for environment. And this G20 Task Force 3 was focusing on lifestyle, well-being, and resilience. And what we did is we also wrote the policy, among others, on what we can do for climate action and what we can do for climate action and health. And you can see here, this is the New Delhi Declaration, which was actually unanimously approved by the 20 countries. The strengthening global health and implementing the One Health approach. This means animal, human, and the ecosystem. Mainstream lifestyles and sustainable development, life, and digital transformation, DPI, building digital public interest. So all these three factors that I mentioned, the interconnectedness is very important. We cannot isolate them when we're talking about this. Next slide. And these are the COP28 health declaration. The first time the COP28, the climate action group in Dubai, I was there for it too. The COP28 had a health day. And what does it say? Increase investments in health, climate and health, strengthen synergies, knowledge sharing, monitoring, developing tools to monitor the outcomes, health gains from mitigation and adaptation action, ability of health systems to anticipate and implement adaptation. Next slide. So the key messages are global warming and climate change have increased the pollen burden and frequency of allergies, as well as intensity of wildfires and dust storms, thunderstorms, heat waves. The environmental stressors alter the human exposome. The pollutants and other environmental factors increase the risk of skin and mucosal barrier disruption, as I already mentioned, causing microbial dysbiosis. The resulting immune dysregulation is contributing to increased immune-mediated diseases, and now abundantly clear that multi-sectorial, multidisciplinary, and trans-border effects based on planetary health and One Health approach are absolutely involved. This is now already announced by G20 and already announced by the COP28. Next slide. So the key actions are, as I'm not going to go into details of it, but just to say that we have to reduce all these negative factors, the climate change, through climate adaptation. There is a pressing need for collaborative and multidisciplinary new data science techniques, biomarkers, and economic models are needed. And very importantly, justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion, JEDI, consideration should be integral part of these efforts. AI plays an important role, and the international community, with governments, policymakers, urban planners, architects, business leaders, healthcare workers, scientists, and civil society all should come together to act for this. Thank you very much for your kind attention. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach me out. to me.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, there will be a presentation on evolving technologies for high-speed trains, including maglev, by Professor Shoichiro Takehara, Faculty of SNT, Sophia University.
I'm grateful for this opportunity to make a presentation today. I'm Shoichiro Takehara from Sophia University. I'm also a member of a Railway Technical Committee of Japan Society of Mechanical Engineers. I'd like to talk about evolving technology for high-speed trains, including maglev. Next slide, please. Now, I'd like to introduce key feature of high-speed train using the Tokaido Shinkansen as an example. Half of a century have passed since the Tokaido Shinkansen started its commercial operation. The fundamental concept of mass transportation with a high-speed railway is safety and reliability. The Tokaido Shinkansen has achieved record of absolute safety with no passenger fatalities or injuries due to train accident. In terms of reliability, it also has left behind the result that annual average delay is 0.6 minutes per operation train. In terms of mass transportation, the ridership per day was 431,000 with 350 trains per day in 2015. Speaking about its speed, max speed is 270 km per hour. The duration between Tokyo and Osaka is 2 hours 22 minutes. This is half the distance from Delhi to Mumbai. Moreover, it also has preceded the environmental ability, such as low noise, small vibration, low energy consumption, and low CO2 emissions. Next slide, please. The linear central Shinkansen is a magnetic levitation railroad. Using cutting-edge technology unique to Japan, the train's levitation 10 centimeters above the ground. It can travel at the maximum speed of 500 kilometers per hour and connect Tokyo and Osaka in only 67 minutes. Considering that the distance from Tokyo to Osaka is 515 kilometers and that the current Shinkansen takes 2 hours 13 minutes. You can see that the linear Chuo Shinkansen will have a significant impact on business and travel. The introduction of linear Central Shinkansen is set to unify the metropolitan areas of Tokyo, Nagoya, and Osaka, creating a single megalopolis. Furthermore, it will shorten the time distance of the entire Japan and increase the efficiency of the economic and social activities. Next slide, please. High-speed train have been played an important role as an integral part of the country's economical development. Mass transportation, high speed, safety, reliability, environmental adaptability. These are important factors of high-speed trains, but they are already taken for granted in Japan. Next slide, please. The next high-speed train will create a new value by giving the time spent on the train more meaning than travel time. The optimal time to spend on high-speed train differs when traveling with family or friend, and when on a business trip. In this situation, what is comfortable? It depends on the person. Next slide, please. Here is a small overview of my research. My research involves investigating people's comfort and applying it to product development. This picture shows people evaluating railways. If she prefer train A, the reason for this may not even be known to the person herself. So we measure behavior and psychology, behavior by some sensors like motion capture camera, iMac recorder, and psychology at the same time. We link the behavior and psychology and investigate the preference based on the relationship between the two. There is something called the evaluation structure in humans. When we unconsciously judge whether things are good or bad, we are actually making a decision based on that evaluation structures. My research is to find out what the evaluation structure is. The evaluation structure is a diagram using a word to present the evaluation that we do unconsciously in your mind. The technique needed to create this diagram is to put it plainly communication. This method can reveal the reason for evaluation, even he or she didn't know. Next slide, please. Why Japan has established reputation for its manufacturing technology, including railroad. Research into human sensitivity and comfort is another area in which Japan excels. I believe that my research will contribute to the creation of comfortable products for people around the world. However, the first thing I need to do to develop my research overseas is to understand the local people, because the criteria for evaluation structure may may be highly influenced by national and cultural differences. On the other hand, something may be common. I'm interested in how national and cultural differences affect differences in evaluation structures. The next step in the research would be examination of evaluation structure of the Indian people and contribute to the best high-speed trains for Indian people. Next slide, please. My research is based on knowing others through communication. I would like to discuss about the best manufacturing together with the people of India for the benefit of people in India. I'm very excited to meet you all at today's seminar. I would like to conclude my presentation by expressing my sincere hope that the exchange between India and Japan will continue to deepen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Next, we'll have a presentation on the superconductor secret, a game changer for climate and sustainability by Professor M. Miriala, Shibara University of Technology, SIT, Tokyo.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thanks to Ambassador Sir and the Science Secretary for the Power Sir for giving this opportunity. This is Mariella from Shibra Institute of Technology. Today I'm going to speak on the superconductor secret, a game changer, a climate and sustainable future. Next slide, please. Actually, my PhD in superconductivity, working from the long time to develop the new class of superconducting material for the sustainable future. Here you can see like many people already seen like that's a Messner effect, but I can say like that is not a Messner effect. Due to the strong pinning centers, one can be levitated with heavy objectives. It can be seen from here. This is the levitated by myself. So here, if you create the nanomaterials, nanostructures, automatically it will be like its performance will be improved. Just I will show some of the results how one can be make it, and also some of my short CV here. For the last more than decade, I worked in the Metis laboratory, like the Superconducting Technology Center, where I did a lot of work on development of super magnets. Then eventually I moved to the Railway Technical Research Institute, JR, where 5 years I did like development of superconducting cables, superconducting magnet for the railway applications. Eventually I moved to Shibara Institute of Technology, where also I did like some of the positions like the board of council member for 2 terms, deputy president for the 2 terms, and also like I'm also deputy chair and chair for the World Technological Universities Network, where more than 21 universities world is participating there to promote the universities and globalization and also promote the SDG goals, etc. As a result, we have like number of publications, patents, books, and also several awards. Here I can say in 2021, I received the Professor Bharati Samman Award from the Government of India, thanks to our President and Prime Minister of India. Next slide, please. Here, okay, superconductors, how it will be useful. You already know this, like CO2 is the one of the main cause for the global warming. You can see like everybody is like for the last 30 years, like Kyoto Protocol, it was started like 15 or 20 years back. Then eventually like France, like Paris Protocol. But if you see like graph, every year CO2 is increasing. There is no breakthroughs. And also human-induced warming already reached more than 1.1. Now it is moving climate uncertainty going to the 1.5, it is like predicted 2040. At present goal, if we reach the 1.5 degrees centigrade, something like that, what will be happen? Next slide, please. So you already seen, even though like 1 degree raising global temperature as a result of wildfires, droughts, melting the glass, it's like a very, very dangerous situation in the plan now at the moment. Even though recently, this Earth Day 2024, they reported CO2 like 426 ppm. However, if the shape of the threshold like 350 ppm, so in this case, scientists and engineers clearly indicated we have to remove the existing 2000 gigawatts of CO2 from the atmosphere. That is the another challenge. We have to stop the CO2 as well as we have to remove the CO2. Next slide, please. So in that case, we have to move the renewable energy resources or capture technologies. I think young students or generations, we must work not only toward the IT or something, we have to go something like this also. And also we have to develop such a technologies, low cost, high performance. Next slide, please. So in this case, I can say superconducting technology is the crucial. To superconducting cables can be transport megawatts of current from one place to another place. And also superconducting magnet storage systems can store the magnetic field, electrical current. It will be like very, very useful for the next generation society because superconducting technology is like, it's like clean, neat. We don't have any CO2 emission reduction. Next slide, please. So here, of course, the superconductor was discovered like 100 years back, but high DC superconductivity was discovered like Bednarz and Muller is the 1986. This is the new material, and also like copper based. You can say like lanthanum, barium, copper oxide, LBCO. Within 1 year, Paul Chu, University of Houston, discovered just replaced lanthanum to yttrium. That is called yttrium barium copper oxide material. It shows like 93 Kelvin. It is 1987. This is the game changer in this materials because now YBCO is 93 Kelvin, is the above the liquid nitrogen temperature, is very cheap, and one can be work on this levitation experiment what is shown. And also like liquid nitrogen is like cheaper than the mineral water. When I joined, like then when I came to 1986 to the Japan, everybody is working like YBCO material. I just like the international superconductor. More than in our department, like more than 40, 50 students. And all are like dispatching researchers for the different companies. Then I thought, why don't you work like only single YBCO system, means yttrium. Then I started to replace yttrium to different metals, like different rare earth material. Single, first I started the binary. I could not find any improvement. Then I started the ternary. Ternary means 3 elements like this. I made it like 3 combinations, like more than 100 compounds. Finally, what I found, like when you utilize this neodymium, europium, gadolinium, it's like very high irreversibility field. Of course, one is like superconducting transient temperature. Transient temperature material we cannot change. But if you change the microstructure, one can be improve the irreversibility field. Irreversibility field means here, like I will show next, 15 Tesla means we can make the 15 Tesla magnet at liquid nitrogen temperature. This is the dramatically improvement. And also, to the performance, I can do the first time I showed the limitation at liquid oxygen. Okay, next slide, please. Yeah, this what I was going to say. This is like Paul Chu discovered YBCO. The JC is like this. If you apply the external magnetic field, here is the superconductor, but after the magnetic field, no superconductor. Means you cannot utilize like special applications like MRI. You need the 5 Tesla magnet. You cannot use it this material. 77 Kelvin. But just what I did this NAG, you can see, you can go up to 7 Tesla. What we did here, this is the material. Just we created the nano pinning centers. As a resultant, this JC was just it was improved dramatically. Next. As a result, this is the first time the world record of critical current density at 77 Kelvin. As a result, I received so many awards. Of course, this is everything. Press release in Japan, also TV broadcast this result. Of course, you can see Japanese patent and European patent and US patent of this material. Such a one can be make it if you change the microstructure, we have to improve the superconducting magnetic performance dramatically. Okay, next slide. Then in this case, okay, we have to be modify the microstructure inside. Just we concentrated NEG. Then we created the 20 to 50% nanometer size zirconia based nanoparticle. As a resultant, you can see levitation at liquid oxygen is the 90 Kelvin. This is very, very important. Liquid oxygen is the oxidizer for the liquid hydrogen fuel launching the rockets. They can use the bearings using this technology, and also health oxygen in the hospitals. If you want to make the pure oxygen to the patient, there also one can use it something like this. Yeah, they're oxygen tank. Then if you use the bearing, this fresh oxygen, 100% oxygen goes to the bearing. Okay, next slide, please. Yeah, again, this result also, this is the first reported in the magnetic levitation at 90.2 Kelvin. This was reported at IOP and several international journals in Japan, several newspapers. As a result, a director award for our institute. This is again another patent in Japan. Okay, move the slide, please. So, but however, I improved the performance of material at a low magnetic field, but it is a high magnetic field is the very, very crucial. What I showed the before 7 Tesla. But if you control the inside, nano pinning centers, the nano order, 4 to 5 nanometer order, just maybe I cannot explain here, but you can see STM micrograph, DFM micrograph, this is twins from the transmission electron microgram. From comparatively here, STM, you can see 3 to 5 nanometer, lumina structures. It will be make it this magnet is 14 Tesla, same material. If you create something like that, it becomes to the 14 Tesla, means you can use it like a 10 Tesla magnet, 12 Tesla magnet. This is very, very important, several industrial applications, especially super magnets working at more than 10 Tesla at 77 Kelvin. Slide, please. This again, this is also world highest reversibility field at that time, reported at 77 Kelvin, 15 Tesla, which is the more crucial for the development of high field magnets. This is also again press release and TV broadcasted here in Japan. The next slide, please. But however, all these materials now, they're if you want to make the super magnets, more than $2,000 for the even the 3 centimeter. But however, to want to reduce the price is the crucial. During the time, what I did, why don't you make the batch production? First batch production was did several conditions. As a result, again, this is also Japanese patent. Using this technology, now so many companies, even though Europe and also in Japan, Asia, is using the same batch production to produce the samples with the low prices. Next slide, please. Okay, just you can move to the transport. We already seen how transport can be utilized the climate change. Next slide. This is because I am in the railways for the 5 years. Just I want to show here. This is you can see such a JR first experimental mag levitation trace. We can call ML100 is on display in outside of the Railway Technical Research Institute. You guys can see this one. This research started in 1960s after this discovery of niobium tin magnets. But that time, speed is 60 kilometers, weight 3.7. This was reported in 1972. But today, this research now for the last 30 years, it's more developed. Now, this JR, Japan Railways, already made it maglev. already like Nagoya, first Tokyo Nagoya is going to start like 2077, it is 600 kilometers per hour this train. Here you can see like this is the super magnet. It will be neobium tin working at 4.2 Kelvin. But it is like maintaining like 4.2 Kelvin is too expensive. But meanwhile, now the new materials are came, what I showed like YBCO or NEG. Such a magnets, if you replace here, this is very, very easy. This price goes down. Operation is very easy. Next slide, please. Then what I showed like a prototype homemade mild levitation vehicle at 77 Kelvin. You can see like small, this is the magnetic track. You can like what I showed like batch production, gadolinium, barium, copper oxide, batch process samples inserted, pulled the liquid nitrogen, then made the body. Then you can see like the scales will be, they can enjoy the ride using the maglev at liquid nitrogen temperature. So this technology now the people are using in the German and also like China. Next slide, please. You can see like using the same thing, same like yttrium, barium, copper oxide, and gadolinium, barium, copper oxide bulk material. They are using to the super magnets here in January 2021. The first engineering prototype HTC maglev train was tested in China. This is like expected speed is 600 kilometers per hour. So such a technology, no, one can be make it like without any CO2 emission reduction. So next slide, please. Just I will show some more slides like power transmission and generation. Slide, please. This is another like while we are working like YBCO is like melt structured material more than 1000 degrees centigrade. One cannot make it the superconducting wire. But what I did that the new material when you start like 210 and barium carbonate, if you mix it, make it that superconducting wire. This is the first report. This was like with several patent club, US, UP, and World Organization. This is the result. One can make it a very smaller time. Next slide, please. This was made it like 6 meter length superconducting wire, and we tested is successfully like 150 amps at 70 Kelvin. Such a superconducting wires can be used like the superconducting cables, which will be very crucial for the current transport from one place to end user applications. So next slide, please. Here, okay, everybody knows like cable. How we can use that, for example, if you to the DC cables, they have a lot of applications and advantages. If you see like it will be compact, bulk transmission, high efficiency, environmental friendly. This is the one of the major thing because like the Japanese government is very serious. 2050 they want to use like CO2 emission free country from here. So there like railways also still is the one of the major role in in Japan. So here just I want to show like a simple one example like railway applications. If one can use the quaternary wire as the superconducting wire. If you use this wire, what is the benefit? Load leveling and energy saving CO2 emission reduction. This is the major CO2 emission reduction. Energy savings. Energy savings means you know the like no electricity passing from one place to another place. Normally like 5% of electricity loss. People think so, oh, 5% is simple. But if you see like the most in Japan, I think more than two heavy two high electric plant generated electricity is equivalent. They are losing. So this is a very, very high current can be losing every year. If you change the superconducting wires in this technology, it's very crucial. The question comes, where DC cables can be used in Japan? Really, we can use it, DC cables. Next slide, please. Then during the time, just like, just we are checking where one can be used. Clearly, the DC cable can be used here. You can see like, here is the JR group, conventional lines, DC electrification, 36%. And private lines is more than 71.6%. From Hokkaido to Okinawa is all red thing is like DC cables. So then the JST, this JR, our group was proposed, why don't you use like DC cables for the railway system? Then the question comes, really it was you, one could be used to JR. Then we started to prototype 2-meter cable, then like the cooling like temperature and measuring the this critical current values. Because now in that especially they need minimum 1.5 kV to run the train. Then we successfully made it like prototype 2 meters, 5 meters, 30 meters, and 300 meters. We successfully did. Next slide, please. So here, if you change the superconducting wire, it is the normal rail. This is the superconducting wire. Here in Japan, like all like subways and Yamanote line and European line, almost all they run by the DC cables. If you train is running, if it is going to like 1.5 kilometers, automatically it will be voltage will be decay. As a result, they are putting like every 2 kilometers substations and feeding the current AC to DC. So if you use the superconducting cable, there is no substation, there is no substation maintenance, there is no like energy losses, and also we can control the CO2 emission reduction. That's why just the project was JST was approved as a result. Next slide. So this is like cable designing. Is the JR? We made it like 300-meter cable. Of course, in laboratory we made it like a prototype like 5 meter, 30 meter. Then eventually the 300 meters. Then 300 meter, 2 to 3 bismuth cable was succeeded to train the runs. If you use something now, it's like one can be save the energy, and also these 3 benefits is successful. And also they made it like next generation railway systems like 2050. They want to make like natural energy sources like power generated by the solar or wind. They can be produced, they can be connected to the superconducting storage power units, connected to the trains. Something like that, it's like 100% CO2 emission society one can be think about in the future. Next slide, please. So you can see like here, like almost all we produce like solar, wind, everything is the DC. So in the future, already I think you guys are studied in the notebooks, in the books. In like 40 to 50 years, most of the fossil fuel is going to disappear. Means like oil, coal, natural gases going to disappear. That is the first problem. Second problem, CO2 emission reduction. Already we seen the temperature is rising to close to 1.5 degrees centigrade. These two problems, if you want to tackle, we have to go solar energy, major, right? Okay, if you want solar energy means after for 40 years, after later, all like cold countries can be see like they need the energy, no? Day by day increasing. Now the like 3 years, they are expecting like 25% of energy is more the world can be utilized. If you think like something like that, if after 25 years, 35 years, so 365 days, sunny places are crucial to generate the power, solar power. So you know, like Bandal Solar Park in the world, the largest planet here in the Rajasthan. They are producing like this like in the Thar desert, 14,000 acres. They are currently producing. I hope this is like something like such a plants. If you make it like in India, in the future, India can be transport the current like DC current to the various parts of the world. Of course, now it is okay, but even though in the future, all fossil fuels are disappear, there must be someone. I think like now, like this last year, Modi, like during the COVID-19, more than 160 countries we supplied the COVID medicine. Same similar passion in the future, we want to send the current from the India to different places because India is 365 degrees centigrade sunny. So if you see like here, like the Thar Desert, the current can be passed to the different parts of the world, like Asia or Europe or South Africa, something like that. So who will be transport when we generated DC power? I say superconducting cable. See, superconducting cables are smart, and also they can be megawatts of current can be transported from one place to another place. So superconductors are and superconducting technology is the next future. There is no doubt at all. Everybody can be realized in the within a couple of years. Now that's why now in Japan, Fujikura and Furukawa, Sumitomo, so many companies they're trying to make like superconducting cable for the various applications like medical, transport, research. So next slide, please. So I think high TC superconductors are the ideal material for describe the climate change. But however, in this case, we need like a lot of ideas, lot of things to make the low cost high performance. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. At the end, we'll have a presentation on molecular self-assembly for creation of new organic photo-functional materials by Professor Yamamoto Yohei, Institute of Pure and Applied Sciences, University of Tsukuba.
Hi, I'm Yohei Yamamoto from University of Tsukuba. Today, I thank Professor Sakikumar for inviting me and giving me a chance to talk on this great symposium. Today, I talk on the molecular self-assembly. I am a material scientist and mainly treating on the organic molecules and polymers. So we are mainly focusing on the self-assembly of the molecules and to create a new function from such a micro to nanostructured materials like laser properties. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, first I briefly introduce our university and the relationship between our university and in India. And here is Tsukuba City. This is roughly 1 hour northern part from Tokyo by transporting by the Tsukuba Express railways. And Tsukuba City is called the Science City. So there are so many national institutes, 30 national institutes, and 200 private research institutes in the Tsukuba Science City. And the University of Tsukuba located on the center of the Tsukuba City. And we are making a good collaboration with other national institutes and companies. And now I belong to the Materials Innovation Program. This is such a collaborating between our university, National Institute of Material Science, and ICE, and KK, and other companies, and also the Research Institute and the Overseas University. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, here we have a 150 years history of our university, and so far 3 Nobel laureates are from our university. One is Shinichiro Tomonaga in physics, and Reo Esaki in physics, and Professor Hideki Shirakawa in chemistry. And my work is also related to the work by Professor Hideki Shirakawa. And also our university are also active for the sports and athletic science. And so far, more than 100 alumni got Olympic and Paralympic medals. Next slide, please. Okay, and our university is also the worldwide global university, and we have, for example, 13 campus partners in worldwide. And now we are also preparing for the relation with Indian Institute of Technology. This is Guwahati to be signed, and also we are also preparing for the other IIT like Bombay, Roorkee, or some others. Okay, next please. Okay, so now I move to the research, and my research is to create a laser from polymer. And for example, this is a laser. This green color, this is a laser pointer. The laser is a special kind of the light source. And polymer is why polymers? So next please. Okay, now we organic light emitting diodes is commercially available. For example, when you go to the electric shop, you can purchase the organic light emitting PV. And these are flexible and lightweight and low power consumption, and these are very good for the commercial applications. So one of the next target for the organic electronics or organic photonics is to achieve the organic lasers. Okay, next please. And so here, the discovery by Professor Hideki Shirakawa is very important. And his discovery is development of the conductive polymers. So polymer is usually, it is electrically insulated and also no light emission. But his discovery proceeds the development of the organic electronics, like electronics and photonics. Okay, next slide, please. Here, the characteristic of the conducting polymer is this is a polymer, but electrically conductive. So this is a very unique property. And the second one is this conducting polymer shows the photoluminescence or electroluminescence properties. So this polymer is also the this polymer is a good property for the light emitting. Okay, please move next slide. So the application of the conducting polymer is, for example, the organic solar cells. Solar cells absorb the light and then generate the electricity to show the electric current. And also light emitting diode is prepared by organic materials. We inject the electric current and it shows light emission. Okay, next please. Next please. Okay, so our target is to prepare the laser from polymer because some kind of the polymer has electrically conductive and some polymer shows the light emitting properties. Okay, next please. And especially we are focusing on preparation of the micrometer scale lasers. So why such a micrometer scale laser or micro resonator is important is there are various kinds of applications like organic optical integrated circuits, optical barcode, or bioimaging or biosensing. So such a small scale, for example, microspheres or microcrystals act as a micro resonators. Resonators can confine light inside the microstructures like a circularly confined mode or like this, or in some case, this kind of the light reflection like this. So this light confinement is important to generate laser properties. Okay, next please. But to prepare the micrometer or nanometer scale materials are not easy. We cannot handle directly. So usually there are two approaches exist. One is a top-down approach by the lithography technique. This is mainly utilized in the semiconductor fabrication manufacturers. Top-down approach. So we cut and cut and cut to obtain the micrometer or nanometer scale materials. But it need high cost manufacturers and multi-step fabrication process. And we chemists approach with from different side. This is called a bottom-up approach. So molecules are still in a nanometer scale, and molecules tend to assemble to form a particular structure. So this is a bottom-up strategy. So this is a very simple process. Molecule spontaneously assemble to form, for example, microspheres or rod-like or such as like some particular structure. So this is a simple process and low cost and low energy consumption. So this is good for our chemist. Okay, next slide, please. And to obtain the such a molecular scale, we call it a supramolecular materials. To control the precise structure for each scale is very important. Of course, the smallest part is molecular structure control. This is a molecular synthesis part. And when we assemble these molecules, for example, such a helical structure, this is the supramolecular structure control is also very important. And further, in the micrometer scale, to obtain the optical resonator, the control of this morphology is also very important. And finally, we assemble it on the surface of the substrate. Okay, next, please. So this is a one-page summary of our research achievement. The main central part is a molecular cell assembly. We achieve some micrometer scale spheres or some crystals by the precise control of the self-assembly. And to obtain the micrometer scale, for example, spheres, light is confined inside these spheres, and it shows lasing properties. This is a luminescence spectrum, but blue, green, and red color lasing, very sharp peak are appeared from these microspheres. And also microcrystal also act as a microresonators, and it shows a lasing properties. And also we combine these properties to achieve the optical logic gates and optical memories, and also very sensitive or high resolution sensing properties. Next, please. For example, for this sensing applications, this sharp peak is very variable because this peak are sensitively shift by the change of the atmospheres, like gas absorption or change of the crystal structures or something so. And mode shift or mode splitting occurs, so we can sense the atmospheric change. Next, please. Okay, for example, when we utilize the hygroscopic polymer resonators, this is very sensitive to the humidity change. So when the humidity change, the peak shift occurs, so we can know how much humidity now. And also polymer, or this is a protein polymers, and we can monitor the degradation of the proteins by shifting, by monitoring this peak shift. And also some porous polymer materials are highly sensitive to the organic gas or volatile organic compound to monitor the gas sensing. Okay, next, please. And during our research on the self-assembly, we find out some unique properties from the self-assembly of the molecule to form a crystal. Next, please. This is a very fundamental research, but the crystal growth. Usually, crystal grow in solution, and it forms the crystal with a convex polyhedron, because the crystal growth process is a thermal equilibrium. So when the concentration increase, here nucleation occurs and the concentration drop, and here crystal grow gradually. So molecule adsorb and dissolve on the crystal surface. So the shape of the crystal is, in most cases, the convex polyhedron structure. But in some cases, some concave polyhedron crystals are formed in this kinetic process. This is so-called a skeletal crystal, and it has some holes or this concave part like bismuth crystals or snowflake. This is a two-dimensionally concave structure. But to control the size and morphology of this skeletal crystal is very difficult, because this is a very kinetic process. It's a very high speed process. So it's very difficult to control. Okay, next, please. And but we can achieve the control of the skeletal crystal, formation of the skeletal crystal with a very simple way. This is a resultant crystal with a hexagonal structure. The center part is a little dark. Next, please. Next, please. Okay, yeah, this is the crystal SEM microscope view from the side view of this crystal. It shows such a vessel-like structure. And here inside there is a hole inside. So this is so-called skeletal crystal. So interesting point is this shape is interesting. It's something like a cup. And also you may notice that all the size is almost same. This is also very intriguing point because usually crystal grows one by one, so shape is different one by one. But here, the shape of the crystal and size of the crystal is almost same in all on the surface. Okay, next please. So we analyze how this crystal grows. And here we drop cast this molecule on the surface and the concentration increase rapidly, but here nucleation occurs in a very short time and then concentration drop off rapidly. And then simultaneously, they synchronously grow crystal to form such a vessel-like structure within 10 seconds. Okay, next please. And we can precisely control the shape of the crystal. This is a vessel-like shape, but when we increase the initial concentration, it shows some flower-like shapes, or in a low concentration condition, it forms the jewel-like shapes. And also, this micrometer scale vessel actually acts as a teacup. When we put some materials inside, and here we shine the light, and this solid melt to be liquid, but it still works as a teacup like this. And also when we put some polymer sphere here and heat up, and this polymer melt, but still keep it in this teacup structure. And also we can fuse or combine this hexagonal structure to show like this is like a molecule like one, naphthalene or anthracene, but this is actually the micrometer scale combination of this teacup. Okay, next please. Okay, so finally, I summarize my research. My research is a very fundamental research, crystal growth or molecular self-assembly. But in some case, such a molecularly assembled material shows lasing properties or some optical properties. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, with this, we will conclude. Yes. Now, with this, we will conclude today's seminar. Thank you so much for your participation today. It was indeed pleasure to have you all. We will have a networking session with high tea at foyer just outside this venue. We hope you will join us. Once again, thank you to all the speakers. Thank you so much. You may please proceed to the foyer. Thank you.